Hello everybody and welcome back to Imperator, where we are currently, well, we just wrapped up a rebellion down over here. We're finishing up our last little bit of road build here. That will definitely be done this episode. And I want these guys to be embarked, which they actually already were. And the fleet is moving. Okay, stop that. Re-embark. It's weird that we could disembark while they were moving, but we couldn't embark while they were moving. But we're going to sail right on up to here. Up we go. Fantastic. So we do have some additional constructions to do. The mines and the farming settlements are completed for now. I want to check in on this. Okay, yeah, that's all going to be finishing up quite soon. So that looks good. We, of course, took over the majority of the Peloponnesian Peninsula, and we also took over the majority of Cyprus. We didn't manage to get both, but for now, that's fine. So are we interested in potentially attacking Crete? Well, I mean, we have some AE right now, but this is maybe something that we're interested in doing. They're in a defensive league with Rhodes, and that's fine. I don't mind that. The next question is, do we want to wait for these guys to be done? Well, I'm going to tell them to move back to here when they're done. I'm going to have these guys move out over here, and then these are going to position here. Well, our Navy is going to come back down over here for now. And we're going to get these guys drilling for the moment. We're not going to immediately go to war, but soon. Very, very soon. Okay, so these guys are almost done with their road build. Once they are done with this entire area is road built, so we can take them off of road build once they build this section of road. That looks good. Now, we can spend some money on our cities, and that would be a good thing to do, for sure. We can put in a tax office here. Ah, civic advance. Perfect. So that is going to grab us use of state land. So that is going to be 2.5% on the national tax. And then we're going to have encourage exploration, mandated record keeping, and then embracing philosophy. It is just unfortunate that I didn't notice that this arrow only connects here. And there's no arrow here. But okay. It's a very strange layout, but I'm not using that as an excuse. I should have noticed. It is clearly indicated. So that is fine. We're going to build a couple of tax offices here. I guess one tax office. That seems okay. What do we got here? Another tax office. Perfect. And this city, we could build a tax office in. What do we got down here? Okay, this could definitely use a Freeman district. So we'll get going on that. We could put in a tax office here. Barbarians have risen here, 6k of them. We're going to take these guys off of drill. They're going to head right on down there. I would like to take a look at what we've got here. A library is okay. I mean, we don't really need libraries right now, but it's fine, I guess. We'll put in a foundry here, and we'll call that good for constructions for now. Okay, so we've eliminated those barbarians without any problem. We're going to turn back around to Jerusalem. Cool. And we'll put these guys back onto drilling for the time being. I want to get these merged into our armies before we launch our next attack. We do have aggressive expansion right now. We're capped on our manpower for the moment, so that's not a concern. But we can go ahead and use Esther here to integrate 5 pops into our culture. And of course, this army is currently missing a commander, which is not shocking. Cool. So down over this direction, I would like to build some forums eventually. We already have a tavern. Okay. 145 gold is a lot of gold. I don't want to spend that if we can help it. A token inquiry. There we go. So let's build 3 mills here. We're going to max out our taverns. And then we're going to build these slave traders. So we don't have the money to build all of the slave traders right now, but we will very soon. So there's 2 of them. And then the third one we could build, but that would potentially break our road build. Not that that's that big of a concern at this point, but we'll hold off on it for right now, because this is the last section of road right here. Okay, so that section of road is built. I'm going to take these guys off of road build, and we're going to move them over to the port. Perfect. So that looks good. Now we can come up here, and we can build that last slave trader. That'll be absolutely magnificent. And this is going to max out the building slots here, so we're going to need to wait for constructions to finish. That is fine. So over we head, and do we have a CB up here on Crete? I doubt it. We should probably make one. So as a hypothetical, yeah, it would just be show superiority. So we're going to need to fabricate a claim. Let's get that going. So we're immediately at 5.87. That's going to be done in slightly over a year. Okay, well, it's going to take some time for these guys to rejoin the army anyway. So we're going to embark them, and we're going to head on up to here. Actually, they should come up here. We haven't built roads here or here yet. So that's fine. We got an oratory advance, so let's grab capital import routes. That'll work. And we need 2 additional advances to grab embracing philosophy and maybe no longer be capped on our research. We'll see if it ends up not actually being capped on our research, but that's going to mean about 631 before we get that done. Okay. It's going to be, 6 years, so that's reasonably fine. So we're going to drop these guys up here. And this road will not take terribly long to build in this area. I'm actually thinking about merging these guys back together temporarily and then splitting off an additional road build unit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I believe this was 6, and then 1, 2, and where's that third one? 3, like that. So these units would come up over to here. That's 4,500. Okay, we are lacking 1 unit of archer for that, I think. So let's create another unit here. No, that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to create a unit here and move this guy over. And that didn't actually move anything. There. Now it moved. Cool. So these guys are going to move out, and they're going to position themselves here. I want this to now split in half, and they're going to position out over this way. We are going to need a commander here, so it looks like... Oh, this has a commander. I see. So I want to dismiss incumbent here. And I want to put in this commander here. Like that. Then I want these to be drilling for the moment. And these guys are just going to wait for the ships to become available. So that'll be fine for right now. So we're going to arrive up over here fairly shortly. There we go. And the ships are now going to come down to this port. These guys are going to go back onto road build, and they're just going to build the road something kind of like this. I'm just wondering here, a connection up here, 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 and then this should connect from here to here as well. Okay, so that should be all of Cyprus good to go. Our rope died. That's very unfortunate. And we're going to need a new one. I'm going to go with this guy because he's a scorned family member. So that seems okay. We can also put in a commander into our legion here. This guy. There we go. And now we're going to embark this army, and we're going to sail on up to the Peloponnesian Peninsula. I want to get roads built up here. So that'll be absolutely fine. Now, we still have the Macedonian revolt up here, so our roads are going to be slightly awkward, but that's okay. Also, are we currently paying our fort maintenance? We are. We should not be doing that. So we'll turn that down, no problem whatsoever there. And let's just deposit ourselves on the Peloponnesian Peninsula. And we're going to go on to road build. These guys are going to build their road like this, but we should have a connection here. And then back over this way. I don't think that's actually going through Sparta. It shouldn't be. And then we're just going to build all the way around this coastline for right now. So that's going to be something kind of like that, and then coming around this direction. Then we're going to want to build up through here, connecting over here as well, and then building up this way. That should connect here and up here, which should also connect there, and then coming around here, connecting here, around this way. It's a little awkward because the arrow doesn't actually show the full distance, but that should be what we need. Okay. I think this is going to be correct. Yes, that looks correct to me. We'll see what the end result looks like. So these guys are going to be done over here far before these are. We should bring our navy over, and where's the end point of this going to be? It's going to be somewhere out over here. We had a martial advance, so we're going to grab mandated record keeping. There we go. And we're we could also do prestigious trade goods as well. That might not be a bad idea to grab, but embracing philosophy is definitely what we're going to do next. No doubt about that. So, our navy is on the way over here. That'll be wonderful. And these guys are going to be done with their road very, very soon. As far as this goes, this is going to take a little bit longer, but that is fine. I'm really not concerned about that. That is going to take a little bit. This road definitely took a hot minute to make. But that's also in the category of absolutely A-okay. So let's just finish up our roads here on Cyprus, and then we're going to move these guys back into these armies. Once we have all of this road build done, then I think we attack Cretan roads. That's the idea, anyway. So how are we doing on our Legion? We could recruit more, and we probably should. So we'll do that when we group these guys together. That'll be absolutely fine. Are you done here? Yes, you are. So let's bring you around and get you embarked. Okay, so we're going to embark that navy, or rather embark the army onto the navy, and we're going to sail on down to here. Perfect. So this is now 10 of 11, so I would love to put in a forum here. And checking in through some of these cities over this way, I mean, we've got this city here that's noble happiness. So this should actually be a research city. It feels a little wasted to make this be a research city, to be honest. But I'm going to do it anyway. So we're going to need a bunch of court of laws here. That's what we're going to get for the time being. That'll be fine. And then this up over here, this is going to be done building in the eventual times. It's definitely going to take a little bit, but it's not that much territory, so we should be through this relatively quickly. And note how our income is rising. We're up to 84.61 right now. That's really, really very solid. So I'm going to move these guys into this army for the moment. I want to group these together and have them be drilled. Cool. These should be completely identical once that's done. So that looks wonderful. And then these guys, they're going to finish up the construction out over here, but that's not a huge concern. That'll be done just automatically eventually. So this is needing to have freemen in it, right? Hang on, I was just double checking this. Yeah. So this is going to need to have some freemen in it. So we're going to want to have a forum queued here. And a second forum as well. That's going to boost up the civilization level, but we need more building slots here. So for now, that seems absolutely fine. Cool. Checking in on our road construction. Oh, our citizens are giving us 450 gold. Beautiful. We're very, very happy about that. So checking in over here. This city is undeveloped right now. This should be a slave/freeman city. So we're going to build ourselves a few mills as well as a foundry there. Just get that online. Excellent. So we're making a large amount of gold right now, right? There's no doubt about that. We're making a very, very solid amount. This should be a library. We'll put that in. And then here in Ashkelon, we're going to need a tax office. Although we do have this Freeman district, we should actually have an additional Freeman district and one more beyond that. But for now, this will do. Okay, so up here in Yeraho, we can definitely put in a couple of libraries. I'm going to put in one for now, and then we get our month tick, and then we get our second library put in here. Perfect. So that'll be fine. Our research efficiency is, of course, still capped. It doesn't get any higher than that. We're just waiting on this religious advance here, which is currently projected to be done in December of 630. Okay. Well, that ahead of time multiplier is going to be a bit painful. 62.4? Does that change monthly or yearly? I guess that changes yearly. Okay. Well, it is going to reduce that by a little bit, by like 0.5%. It's not going to be very significant. So that is definitely noted. These guys are very, very close at this point to being done with their road build. Once they're done with that, I want them to just head on down to here, and we should be ready to pick them up. So we're going to sail on over. Excellent. There's very little road construction left to be built here. We're almost done in the Peloponnese. So if we zoom right on out here and look at Atlas map mode, we can see our road networks. They're not perfect, but they're definitely serviceable. No doubt about that. I'm not necessarily super happy with some of the road networks that we've got going on up over here. Well, actually, it's not too bad as I look at it. Yeah, that's not bad at all. No, I'm pretty okay with that. Cool. So we're continuing to construct buildings out over here. We're going to want to put in some taverns, for sure. We'll queue up 3 of those. And then slave traders here, I'm just waiting for an income boost. As soon as this month tick happens, there we go. So we're 10 of 12 here, and we're definitely making progress on all of these buildings. What is this? Ask for military access from Syracuse. Who are they fighting? They're fighting the Ptolemaics. We'll accept that. Anything that weakens the Ptolemaics is good for us. Now, we do have some starving pops up over here, which is interesting. I didn't really expect to have starving pops up here. So this is cedar. This is also cedar. Also cedar. Glass. Dyes. We're producing some food here with livestock. Glass, wine, which is not food, and honey, which is also not food. So our only food production in this state is right here. Our pop cap is low because we're out of food. Okay, so how much are we out of food by? 37. Noted. So we may want to consider putting in... This will give us a building slot. We're limited to 1 farming settlement. But I'm wondering if we were to have a farming settlement and then, like, a slave estate. I don't think that would actually help, though. So, like, an enclosure. A farming settlement and an enclosure. That would be what we'd want. Let's make a religious endowment here and see if it lets us do that. So we'll get going on that. That will take a little bit to get finished. Absolutely. It takes 6 months. And we'll see what these modifiers end up looking like. We're currently losing provincial loyalty because we're starving up here, right? And it's all in this location, so that's understood. So down here, our main issue is that critical food supply, right? So that's understood. We are 10 slave pops per livestock. Sure. We could also think about running an import route. Well, we're at 4 of 3 right now. So what are we importing right now? We are importing cedar for some reason. Let's cancel that. That puts us at 3 of 3. We're also importing iron and base metals and woad. Let's get rid of the woad, and let's instead import grain. Now, grain is 6 food. We do have access to rice, which is 7 food. This is not in our own territory, though, and I'd rather import domestically, like this. So that will give us some additional food. 4.21. That's certainly better. Okay, now it's gaining in the food. Okay. So this is fine for the moment. We are no longer going to have starving pops here soon. That food will be distributed. But I do still want to boost up our livestock generation here, so that will be a very useful thing. So yeah, we're definitely getting that food in at this point, so that looks good. But I do want to still build this enclosure here. I'm 99% sure that we're not going to be able to build a second farming settlement, but a farming settlement and an enclosure may be a possibility. We'll find out. This is going to be interesting. So we're at 80% here. Are these guys done building their roads? Hang on. Yeah, they're done. Okay, so we're going to embark them, and we're going to sail them right on over to here. Sounds great. And then back up over here. We're just waiting on this provincial investment to finish. So this is going to give us quite a lot of additional production in theory. This means that we're currently, every 10 slave pops are giving us 1 livestock. So this is going to give us +2 additional livestock here, in theory. Assuming this works. Okay. So it only works in cities. Gotcha. Good to know. It would be weird if it didn't, I suppose. I don't want to spend 300 gold on this. Okay. So that's fine. We can definitely invest in our cities here. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it'll do. So we can do something like that. The city of Dan would also be a good place to build, so we'd build a tax office there, and it would be something like this. So, I mean, we do get 4 building slots out of that. That's not the worst thing in the world, for sure. We can get a lot of buildings built in Jerusalem. For right now, I'm not interested in doing that, but eventually I will. So we're at 10 of 12 here, and we're good on slaves. So let's get some freeman structures going here. Wife required. Good to know. Okay. So we're at 905 manpower at the moment, and our constructions are proceeding rather quickly. So that's excellent. Checking in on some of these, we can definitely build a library here. We can build a pair of tax offices here. That seems good. We've got a city up over this way where we can build a court of law. Seems good. And then we've got this city here, which is fine. We can build a library here. And these cities are currently fine. Okay. So that all looks wonderful. This city is barely started. So let's build a mill here. We're going to have all of these cities built up very, very soon. And then we'll be able to start expanding beyond this area, which would be magnificent. 452 gold for 3 stability is not a good deal. So we're going to avoid that. So who's angry about that? That is this guy. Okay, done. No problem. Fantastic. Let's get another mill queued here. We're going to need a number of buildings in this area, for sure. This city is not developed in the slightest, and there's this one down here as well, where I'd like to put in a forum. We'll get that going. So that seems fine. Here, of course, we're going to get another mill going on the month tick. There we go. And then our next step is probably going to be the slave traders, but we'll need some money for that. Now, these guys, they should move down over here. Our claim is done, so we could definitely consider going to war at this time. But before we do that, I want to look at what we've got here. So we can expand by 7. Okay. So I'm thinking right now that we should expand our support. So let's get 1 cohort of engineers to each of these. And we don't actually have the gold for that, do we? No, we don't. Okay, so a cohort of engineers for each. And then we would also probably maybe bring it in something like 3 and 5. So that would be 4 and 4. We wouldn't have enough for that. We would have enough to do this. And then for this other army, toss in 2 cohorts of engineers and a cohort of supply train. Something like that. We'll need to wait for the month tick, but that's okay. We're not too concerned about it. And we have to redo it? Okay. And we still can't afford the cost. Rounding issue. 99.25. Okay. So we'll need to wait for the month tick, and that will be absolutely fine. So this is going to bring us up to 64 of 65. Perfect. So now we're going to move these guys over to our boats. And the question is, do we have enough boats to embark both of these armies? I think we do. Yeah. Perfect. So we're going to sail our way out over here. We want to attack Rhodes eventually. And we also want to attack Crete. So we're going to get both of these dealt with no real problem. So over we go here. We've got a lot of building constructioning happening. That seems great. And I want to attack directly Crete. The Macedonian revolt will join the war, which is fine by us. We're going to be able to take these areas. Now, there are no forts up in here, apparently. So the Macedonian revolt might do some things there, but for now, this seems okay. We're going to declare this war, and I want these guys to disembark right here. So off they go, and we're going to get this taken over very quickly. But we're going to then move to here. There we go. And these guys are going to disembark here. Then we're going to come back over here. Wonderful. And we're going to head into port here as soon as we control all of Rhodes. Beautiful. So, do they actually control anything else? They stopped existing. This is a settlement now. We destroyed their city. Kind of accidentally, but we destroyed their city nevertheless. So Rhodes no longer exists. Okay. We're going to take these guys up over here, and these lads are going to need to push up and take over these forts. So we could definitely split this force in half, which I'm going to do. And we're going to have one force sieging here, and hang on, they've got 15,500 troops here. This is a levy. So the question is, do we feel like we can actually fight this levy with our force? We have a large advantage in our martial skill. Morale is 4.59 compared to their 4.93. Terrain is to their benefit here. This is in hills. They have 3 units of spearmen. Most of their units are light infantry. I think we win this, but this does seem like a good time to put a cut in here. It is about that time, and this is a nice little cliffhanger. I like it. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a... Oh, hang on, I accidentally unpaused it, but we're locked into this fight now. Hang on. We're locked into this fight now. They are walking this direction, which is intriguing. But with us locked in, this is happening. We cannot uncommit to it. I accidentally unpaused it briefly there. But, as I was saying, a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy Magar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Hiro Marutsu, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.